Chapter 1. The autumn leaves crunched under Charles's leather shoes as he walked down a familiar yet foreign street in Aykwood City. He was back, a fact that still felt surreal. The city of his childhood, now shadowed by the recent inheritance of his mother's old house. His thoughts were a whirlwind of old memories when a flash of crimson caught his eye. A woman in a tailored red coat walking briskly in the opposite direction. As they passed each other, a strange pull made both turn their heads simultaneously. Time froze. Her confident stride faltered. His breath hitched. "Kelly." Charles's voice was barely a whisper, yet it carried through the crisp air. "Charles." Kelly's heart hammered against her ribs. The boy she once knew was now a man, with the same gentle eyes that had haunted her teenage dreams. The confident CEO facade she wore daily melted away, leaving a flustered young woman in its place. Chapter 2. They stood on the sidewalk, a stream of people partying around them. The initial shock gave way to a flurry of stuttered greetings. What are you doing here?" Kelly managed to ask, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. "My mother," she passed, "left me the house," Charles explained, his voice soft with a mix of grief and nostalgia. "I just moved back a week ago." "I'm so sorry, Charles," Kelly said, her genuine compassion cutting through her shyness. They exchanged hurried pleasantries and, almost as a reflex, phone numbers before continuing their separate ways, both too stunned to suggest a proper coffee. Chapter 3. He's back. Queenie shrieked, nearly dropping her paintbrush. Kelly had rushed straight to her best friend's art studio. "And you just left? After years of pining, you just let him walk away?" Queenie shook her head, a mischievous glint in her eye. No. This is fate, Kel. The universe has handed your childhood crush back to you on a silver platter. A successful, single, and from what you've said, still devastatingly handsome platter. You have to make a move. But what if he's different? What if I'm different? Kelly worried, her business acumen utterly useless in matters of the heart. Different is good. You're not kids anymore. You're a powerhouse. Now we just need a plan. Chapter 4. Meanwhile, in a modern office downtown, Charles stared at his phone, Kelly's number burning a hole in his contacts. "I saw her, James. I saw Kelly," he confessed to his business partner and best friend. James let out a low whistle. "After all these years? And did you ask her out?" "Of course not," Charles sighed, running a hand through his hair. "How could I? My parents. Their divorce was a mess. What if I'm built to fail at this? What if I can't give her the stable life she deserves? She's a successful CEO, for heaven's sake." "Mate," James said, clapping him on the shoulder. "You run a company with a six-figure income. You're one of the good ones. Your parents' failure is not your destiny. Don't let your past rob you of a future you actually want." Chapter 5. Encouraged by their respective confidants, Charles took the plunge. He texted Kelly, asking if she'd like to catch up over dinner, framing it as two old friends reconnecting. The dinner was a whirlwind of shared memories and nervous laughter. They talked about their careers, his tax firm, her family company. The initial awkwardness faded, replaced by a comfortable familiarity and a thrilling new undercurrent of attraction. The percentage of their relationship, once at 0%, began its slow, steady climb. Chapter 6. Over the next few weeks they met several times. Their connection was undeniable, but a pattern emerged. Every time the conversation veered towards anything deeper than surface-level nostalgia or current events, Charles would skillfully, politely change the subject. He was a perfect gentleman, but an emotionally distant one. "He's building a wall, Queenie," Kelly lamented one evening. "I can feel it. We're stuck at great old friends. How do I get to potential girlfriend?" "You need to force a crack in that wall," Queenie declared, painting her nails with deliberate strokes. "Create a situation that requires genuine emotion, not just polite conversation." Chapter 7. Queenie's plan was set in motion. She organized a small gathering at her studio, insisting Charles and James come. Meanwhile, James took a more direct approach with Charles. "Look, Kelly is incredible. Any man would be lucky to have her. But if you keep this up, you're going to lose her before you even have her. Your fear is going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy." The words struck a chord. At the gathering, Charles watched Kelly radiant and laughing and knew James was right. He was letting the ghost of his parents' failed marriage sabotage his own chance at happiness. Chapter 8. Later that week, Kelly, following Queenie's advice, asked Charles to help her with a personal tax issue at her favorite quiet cafe, Sugar and Spice Cafe. After the business was swiftly dealt with, she took a deep breath. "Charles," she began, her voice softer than usual. "We've had so much fun catching up. But I feel like you're holding back. Is everything okay?" Her directness, laced with genuine concern, shattered his defenses. For the first time he spoke about his parents' divorce. The anger, the confusion, the deep-seated fear of causing that kind of pain himself. Kelly listened, her hand instinctively reaching across the table to cover his. "Charles," she whispered, "you are not your father. And I am not your mother. Our story is ours to write." In that moment the wall crumbled. The percentage meter jumped to 80%. Chapter 9. The air between them was now clear, charged with possibility. A few days later, Charles asked Kelly on a proper date. They went for a walk in the very park they played in as children. Under the canopy of a familiar old oak tree, Charles stopped. "Kelly, all these years, even when I was away, I never really forgot you. And seeing you again, it's like finding a piece of myself I didn't know was missing. I was scared, but I'm not anymore. Not when I'm with you." Kelly's eyes glistened with tears. "I never forgot you either, Charles. I was just too scared to hope." He leaned in, and their first kiss was a promise. Sweet, hesitant, and filled with the relief of a long journey finally reaching its destination. 100%. Chapter 10. Weeks later, Charles and Kelly walked hand in hand, the world seeing them for what they were. A couple, deeply in love and finally together. Mission accomplished. Queenie cheered, pulling James along. "We, as the official architects of this romance, deserve a celebration. Drinks are on you two lovebirds, but the company is on us." She winked at James, who found himself surprisingly charmed by the vibrant artist. Later, at a cozy bar, as Charles and Kelly were lost in their own world, Queenie and James clinked glasses. "To successful matchmaking," James said. "To the hope that we're half as good at our own love lives as we are at managing theirs," Queenie replied with a laugh, her eyes meeting his over the rim of her glass. A spark, unexpected but undeniable, passed between them. The night was young, and for the two masterminds behind the perfect love story, their own tale seemed to be just beginning.